Good morning, Year 12. This week we're going to look at the inverse normal distribution. So previously we were looking at the normal distribution and we were saying things like, what's the probability that a person is less than 175 centimetres tall? But now, instead, we're going to say the probability that someone is a certain height or less is, say, 40%, and we need to find out what this value is. So the way we're going to need to do this is to go to our calculators and use the inverse normal distribution function on there, and we'll be using example 4 from the textbook as a bit of a guide to show how to do these different questions. So in example 4a, our normal distribution looks something like this, and we know the probability that x is less than a is 0.75, so I expect it's about here, because 3/4 of people are included in this. So there's our point A here, and this is 0.75. And I know my mean is 20, and my standard deviation is 3, because this says 3 squared. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is press the menu button, and I want 7, because that's my distributions. And then I'm going to press 3 for inverse normal. And the area, that's going to be 0.75. So that's the area under the curve, or the probability that we're less than a certain value. So we want 0.75. And then I'll press enter. Our standard deviation, 3 squared, was our variance, so 3 is our standard deviation, and our mean is 20. If we press equals, we end up with 22.02 as our answer. So we found that the probability that x is less than 22.02 equals 0.75. So the answer to A was 22.02. And if we have a quick look at my sketch of the normal distribution, this sort of makes sense, because I was expecting something here a little bit higher than 22. Now for part B, so I'm going to draw my function again, my normal distribution function. For part B, we're now looking up for something where the probability that x is greater than a to be 0.4. So I think if we want less than half, it's going to be somewhere here. So all of this adds up to 0.4. But on the ClassWiz calculators, which is what most of you have, you can only look for the probability that x is less than something. So we're now looking for this section to the left of A, because we can put in the probability that x is less than something is going to be 0.6, because together these need to add up to 1. So I'm back on the inverse normal function on my calculator, but this time I need to put in 0.6, and my standard deviation is still the same, my mean is still the same, and I get 20.76 as my answer. So according to my calculator, A equals 20.76. So the probability that x is greater than 20.76 is 0.4. And again, looking at my normal distribution sketch here. If the mean is 20 there, I would expect A to be slightly above 20 for this to work. Finally, for part C, I'm looking for x being between 16 and some number A being 0.3. And I've seemed to have sketched my normal distribution function a little bit asymmetrically, so I'm going to give that another go. There we go, that will do. So 16 is down here, and A, well, I don't know exactly where it is. It could be here, it could be here, I'm not really sure. For my sketch, I'm going to put it here. So we want this section here in the middle, but we can't really put that into our calculator, so I'm going to split it into two parts. I'm going to say here is everything less than A, and here is, whoops, everything less than 16. If I take everything less than 16 away from everything less than A, then I'll be left with the diagram at the bottom. So what I want to do first is find out the probability that x is less than 16 on my calculator. So I was on the inverse normal distribution, but now I need to find the probability that x is less than 16. So I'll go back to my menu, yep, number 7, and this time I want normal CD, never normal PD, always normal CD, number 2. I'm looking for everything less than 16, so I'll put in minus 99999 for my lower, because I want to go all the way down to minus infinity. And the upper will be 16. My standard deviation was 3, and my mean was 20. And I get 0.0912. So I've got 0.0912 for this part here. I'm just going to label that as well. 0.0912. And I know that this part here was 0.3. So that means if I add these two together, then the probability that x is less than A must be 0.3912. And now that's something that I can put into my calculator on the inverse normal. So I can say the probability that x is less than A, 0.3912. So I'll get my calculator out again, menu 7, go to the inverse normal, so number 3. This time the error is 0.3912, standard deviation is 3, mean is 20, and I get 19.17. And I guess I can see from this sketch here, actually, I should have sketched a little bit further over to the left here, because it's actually less than the mean. Okay, I feel like that's hopefully enough information for now. So go away, try the exercise, and send me an email or a message on Show My Homework if you get stuck.